if she wants to come down here tonight. She's like, no.
She didn't want to watch you be all official? Aw.
Not her gig. Yes. She's a smart girl.
She is.
Mhm.
I always have to ask my wife not to.
Yeah. Well, might not have been serious, you know.
In the hallway.
Oh, yeah, he was on his phone.
All that chicken's great.
Yeah. Hey, where's this one at? He's here.
I've seen it before.
Interesting. Is Gregory not doing his shop out on 21st anymore? Was he just? Oh. Well, look at him. Good for him. So is that what he's doing all the time?
On the corner?
That's a nice old building. Yeah.
So is that all he's doing, just a shop? His buddies? Is he share a girlfriend?
Looks like it's 6 o'clock. We have roll call
Mr. West?
here.
Mr. Nolan? Ms. Botkin? Here. Ms. Reynolds?
Here.
Ms. Watkins? Here. Ms. Flint?
Here.
Mr. Letourneau?
Here. All right. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So has everybody had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from last meeting? Any discussions about that? Any questions?
Move that we put the minutes on file.
Second.
We have made by Mr. Letourneau and seconded by Mrs. Watkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. All right. All right, so next is appropriations. If I can get to that. We have appropriations in the amount of $53,570.70. Everybody have an opportunity to look at the report? You have any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Move to pay the bills.
All right. Moved by Ms. Watkins, second by Ms. Reynolds. All right. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. All right. So, move to the city attorney items here. We got, no camping ordinance.
Yes, is that it? Yes, okay. Yep. So in the packet, it was brought to my attention that our request, just for an ordinance that would be no camping, loitering, or panhandling in a city property or parks. So there's a proposed, ordinance in your packet for you to discuss, see if there's any changes you wanna make.
I had a question about the loitering. I think that's what you go to the park to do.
Yes, it's a very loose term. I think it's just if,
There's a difference between going to the park and hanging out and then having a backpack and a sleeping bag and asking people for, there's a difference.
Panhandling.
Well, they had a guy living in the bathrooms at Pappy Litch again. We've had one every year. This one was using the bathroom on the floor instead of in the bathroom facilities. So it was hard to run him off because there's really no ordinance.
Okay, I see that.
But I agree with you on the loitering part. It's you go to the park to loiter, but this guy was doing far much worse than loitering.
That was the only question I had about it.
All right.
Different term that you'd like to see.
Yeah, other than loitering, is there some other term you'd like to see in that?
I don't know what it would be.
I don't think there's any.
I don't know what it would be.
Right.
Loitering being a nuisance? I don't know.
Well,
I mean, with what they said in mind, I don't have a real problem with loitering. Just wanted to have some
keep
clarification.
to it, yeah, some clarification. Well, I guess the clarification is,
It's acceptable to me.
yeah, okay, it's acceptable to you. Does anybody wanna take that on as a motion to vote on that?
It's gonna be ordinance 22-06.
Motion to approve ordinance 22-06.
Okay.
Second.
Motion was made by Ms. Reynolds, second by Ms. Watkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
and when we have events like we have had in the past, you can make a motion to allow camping for that event weekend down at one of the parks. So you could allow camping for events and things.
You're talking about like an exception.
Mhm.
All right. Well, next on the agenda is the revenue neutral rate. You guys, all got a copy of that. I believe the mayor emailed it out last week. And in essence, the revenue neutral rate, set by the county is set at 61.521. And, we're going to exceed that just by the nature of our budget. And the recommended, number that we've come up with through our accountant is 94.634. That's a considerable jump, but you just gotta keep in mind that, this new way of doing the budgets, through this revenue neutral rate, I don't think they've got it figured out yet at the county or state level. We're just trying to make sure that we have enough cushion. I don't think we're gonna get to the 94.634, but it will give us some room to work when that deadline comes up in, September, right?
So you're not setting it to raise to the night,
No,
to
this
raise
is
to
just
it,
setting
it's
a
just
hearing.
cap.
This is putting everyone on notice that it might be raised,
Yes.
setting a hearing for September 19th at 6, and that's when you would vote on
On the actual.
whether you're gonna raise it or
Okay.
how much you're gonna raise it, so it's not set, it's just putting people on notice it might be raised.
Way to do this at the school also, and it's just notice of intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate, but not to exceed 94.634 mils.
And to set it,
I don't think there
Hearing
was a
date.
school board in the state that didn't pass this,
Right.
so,
I think with the economy, everyone's gonna have to.
Yeah.
this year. So there's a notice of intent to raise the revenue neutral rate so you need to make a motion to, number one, we might exceed it to that 94.634, setting a hearing 9/19/22 at 6. To include those three things.
So do I hear a motion to set this hearing at 90, for the revenue neutral rate to raise it to 94.634?
I have a question here on this.
Yeah.
Where it says, be it resolved, the governing body of the city of Baxter Springs.
It might say that. With correction, just put it. This is the notice of intent. It's just real short. This is what we send to the clerk. I'm not sure what was.
No, this is in the resolution.
Okay, this is all we'll need to do, is this notice of intent with those three things, so you can just ignore that, we'll just do it.
Mine says green.
Right here.
That second
It's in the
highlighted,
bold print. It's just
bold
my
print, and then very little. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the city of.
We
No,
don't have to pass
it's-
that resolution tonight.
No, a resolution's not required, I think it's just kind of, this is what's required, just the notice.
Yeah, moving right along.
We haven't approved it.
Huh?
We need to approve this.
Yeah. So here we are. We need to set this meeting for September on the 19th.
So motion to set the meeting September 19th at 6 p.m. And
Notify the county clerk that we're gonna exceed the revenue neutral rate.
And the amount not
Uh,
to
at the
exceed.
94.634.
What she said,
All right. Second, motion made by Chastity, seconded by Nancy Flint. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. We have Mr. Florian is here today. We had some discussion at our committee meeting. You were so kind to show up, and we did some negotiating together on 2 acres of land. And the agreed amount for the acreage would be $3,000 per acre, plus the $2,000 survey, $2,000 a survey fee.
Joe, not to interrupt you, but I'd like to speak before you complete your business with him. It pertains to business here also, that I think you guys will like. I can show you.
Sure. Yeah, you can. Do you have something to say?
Yes, I'd like to buy 5 acres from you guys. I'm not disclosing
You're
what I'm
not- we're
doing
not-
yet, but, you can get a good idea. And what you're selling him butts up to mine. I need it for this piece to make that work.
Sure.
I
Well-
think it would.
I appreciate that. Drive-in theater, huh?
I think it'd bring a lot of business here.
Yeah. Well, I know we had already entered into a conversation with Mr. Florian on this acreage, and it directly connects to his property.
He said, well, we talked about it, and he said that it connects to mine. And I said, well.
Well, it connects from his property, and it wraps back around behind his next-door neighbor, which that property right now is,
It's in limbo.
it's in limbo because
So his just
the
goes directly behind.
nursing
that.
home has a lien on it.
His only goes where it's mowed then?
So yeah, so what's going on is he wants to come back and over just to kind of, his goal is
Just get
to
that- right,
purchase
right.
that.
I think that's great.
And it's gonna stop basically right there. So that's the 2 acres that he's looking to get.
Well, so could we get this part?
Well, I'm not, we can have a conversation about it at a finance
Finance.
meeting.
Finance committee meeting.
So maybe we can set up a finance committee meeting and you can come and we can talk to you about it and see if
I
that's
tried to do
something we're
it right
interested.
away when I heard it, and
Yeah.
it just didn't go.
No, I
quick
get
enough,
it. Sure.
That's cool.
Very cool. That would be something that would be awesome for the town.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess we need to set a finance committee meeting to have that discussion. So that's us three.
Which Tracy will set it up and then.
Yeah, so we'll
whatever,
have
contact
Tracy
him.
get that set up for hopefully sometime next week and,
Can I make a request on that? Can it be after, at 5 or later? Those 4:30 ones, customers
that's a
are
tight schedule.
getting with me the next day and going, where were you? You know?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay
I'm
with that?
retired, so I can do it after 5 for sure.
And you'll be
Yeah,
there too.
anytime you guys are ready, I'll show up and.
Well, we got your number, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get a hold
That's-
of you and have you come in and we'll
Not to,
sit down and
not
have a
to
committee meeting.
get into his business, I want to thank Robert Laterna for reaching out to me and just checking on what's going on.
Sure.
I will give you guys an update that the EPA came out and the water tested out perfect. So that's a plus. But,
Sounds great.
all right.
All right. Mr. Florian, come on up, sir. So, I'm telling the council what we had talked about and what we had, determined would be a good course of action from the finance committee. We were all in favor of it. There was no dissension on the committee. And so, this 2 acres of land that Mr. Florian's looking for, we started out in negotiations with 4,000 an acre. That's what we deemed to be the lower end of the average cost per acre in the Cherokee County. And then, of course, we had to go out and get the survey fee, what that would cost. And it's not quite 2K. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,800 or something like that. But we just put that stop point of 2K on there. What we wanted to negotiate as a deal with you. And so instead of the sale for 2 acres at the 10 grand that we had originally talked to the council about before, we had another meeting with Mr. Florian and negotiated to the total of an $8,000 sale. So I'm just looking for a motion to be able to accept the findings of the finance committee.
I make a motion that we sell Mr. Florian 2 acres for $8,000 with up to 2,000 of that being used for the survey.
Okay,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Reynolds.
Is it 3,000 an acre plus,
Plus.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's 3,000 an acre
so 8
for
total?
2 acres, 6,000 plus 2,000 for survey.
If we were able to make a deal also, we could split the cost on the survey. We talked about that.
Right?
That won't-
Be a different survey. We'd have to survey the section of land that you're looking for. So we'd have to have them come out and mark that at that time. But we'll talk about that at the council or committee meeting.
Motion?
So the motion was made by Bob Laturner and seconded by Chastity Reynolds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right.
So that takes care of both of those.
Let me have this. Okay. So, I believe the mayor sent invoices out for y'all to look at, from Mr. Cantrell. And, these invoices were also given to the department heads. And I know the department heads, did not see, any reason to, they didn't see the work, they didn't approve the work. I'm just giving you that heads up here from what I've been told about it. But nevertheless, we still need to vote on this invoice. And the invoice totals, let me see if I can find it here. All right. I'll go to my email here. I know I've got it in there. So everybody's had an opportunity to review the invoice, right? So the invoice actually totals $622,600 for the list of work that Mr. Cantrella is looking to receive recompense for. Do I hear a motion to approve the invoices? Do I hear a motion to disapprove of the invoices?
Motion made to disapprove.
Okay,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Lturner. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, is there a Mr. Lee here? Come on up, Mr. Lee.
I'm here to ask for some permission. Our restroom is dilapidated over 707 Short Street, and I'm having all that redone. And
What are you having, I'm sorry, what are you having redone?
the restroom,
The restroom at your facility?
it's all dilapidated and old, and I'm gonna have it redone. And I wanna put a RV back at the back while that's being done for the restroom.
For the restroom. Okay.
Might take a week to do that.
So the RV is just gonna be there for a week?
Yeah,
Okay. And you chose RV, not porta potties, because it's air conditioned and customers, right? That's kind of a no-brainer. 1 week.
Are you sure a week is gonna be enough?
should be. It depends on, I've had trouble finding people to do it, and I got a guy that's gonna start it, and I figure if he goes in and does it, it'll take him about a week.
Okay.
I don't want you to have to come back here next week and ask us to extend it.
Well-
Typically, these things go like 30 days or something.
I hope he don't take that
Well,
long.
as do I.
When are you asking from when to when?
Probably starting first of the week, first of next week.
So you want permission to put an RV there at the first of next week? Okay. Let me look at the.
Is this your home or?
No, massage parlor.
Oh,
And another thing while I'm here, well, let's get that answer first.
So you're talking about from the 25th, to start on the 25th of July to the 22nd of August, how's that?
Yeah, that should be
Yeah? But if you're done before that, we would
clean.
appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
going
yeah, it'll
ahead
be
and-
gone, yeah, it's all. I hope
All
it-
right, so how do you guys feel about that? Anybody want to have any conversation about that?
we typically let people put up an RV for a short period of time and they need to.
Johnny, any
Do you want to
concerns or over here? Okay. We need to make that a motion? Okay. Well, the motion on the floor is to accept this 30-day, plus or minus a few days, right, about 28-day, I guess, time slot for Mr. Lee to place an RV for restroom use only at the Yellow Rose.
I'll make that motion.
Okay? Motion made. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Watkins. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now,
Mr. Lee, you got one more thing you said you want to talk to us
one
about?
thing, I've been trying to find somebody to add on a 14 by 20 block building behind it
Uh-huh.
for a utility room.
So you're just looking for some names?
Well, I've called the city a time or two and they didn't have nobody.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find somebody to do that.
Well, I guess the best thing we could do is maybe give you a list of construction companies that have licenses in the city.
It's also
And
on
then
our
you can-
website.
And then you could choose from those folks.
Okay.
Would that help you?
Yeah,
It wouldn't really be appropriate for us to,
Right.
say, hey, you need to go to this person.
yeah. Oh, I
No,
know.
We got,
I know
we just
that.
gotta give you the
I-
list.
I'd love to have a list. I've called everybody I could think of.
Sure.
Trying to find carpenters and stuff.
It's on
Well, our
website.
our acting city clerk here is, telling me that it's on our website.
I've looked on there, and I called the one that was on there,
That's what we have.
Okay.
wasn't that many there.
Would it be okay if he came and
Mhm.
got that list from the clerk's office? So come tomorrow during, business hours and they'll give you a copy of it,
Okay,
okay?
all right, and, I'll
Oh, you
need-
got one more thing.
Well, I need to get a permit
Uh-huh.
from the city to do that, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll do it. The
That-
contractor will do it,
That,
right?
yeah, a good respectable contractor will do that for you, yeah.
Okay,
But you're ultimately responsible for it.
okay, that's.
Just so you know.
So I know, yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right, well, thank you a lot.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lee. Is there a Alba Graham here? Grimm?
Grimm, Grimm.
Well, hey, all right, sorry I mispronounced your name. You know how the Midwest is, we all have our little slang, and
No, I actually don't know, but okay.
I heard Graham when we were talking about it earlier, and, so, my apologies, Miss Grimm.
No problem. I'm here because I would like to request that the barrier that's blocking the public roadway at Fourth and Water be removed. I'd also like to request that the barrier at the end of the deeded alleyway on Water, between, Water and Woods be removed. And if the Public Works Director deems that there is a problem, that he put up a city barrier, because I don't believe that private citizens should be putting up barriers on public land. And I've been around to some of the neighbors, as a matter of fact, I know at least one is here with me tonight. And part of the problem that they feel, why they haven't come forward, is that the city council and the chief of police don't do anything to take care of this problem. So we'd like to see some action on it, because it is a public roadway, and it should not be blocked. If there is an issue, then issue should be taken care of while the roadway is still open, not closed and blocked off from through traffic.
Wow, you sound like you're just like reading my mind. You know, we've had this conversation. So what I will tell you is the chief of police definitely has been doing something, just putting together what he needs to put together for this situation that you're talking about. We've had some disagreement, right, with property lines
That's fine.
from property owners.
but the
And so
part
what we're
that's-
doing, and we're with you too, so I want to tell you, we're in agreement with what you're saying.
Then
We
do
want the
something-
roadway to stay open until this dispute
That's correct.
over land is settled, and then we can figure out how that's gonna work.
And that's been a public roadway since, I believe, 1966? Or
1866 maybe.
I don't,
But I want to go
I don't know,
back-
I was born 1965. I know that,
you wouldn't know at all.
I know that I used to climb the chat pile that was right there on
Well,
that property.
the thing is,
We
the
slide
road's
down it
been
with-
opened and
Yeah.
maintained by the city for a lot of years.
Yes.
And I don't know exactly how many. But like I said, if there is a dispute, that needs to be handled. However, during the handling of that dispute, that roadway, that open roadway, public needs to be opened.
So we're in agreement with you on that. We even made a motion here at the city council, not in so many words, maybe a little bit of different words, but the same thing, right? Keeping the roadway open, keeping it safe for the public. There is a dispute between the city and Mr. Cantrell about property lines, and we ordered a survey, and we're working through this process. There's some land that Mr. Cantrell has that is actually part of city property, and then there's the roadway that's actually part of Mr. Cantrell's property. So there's all that's like we're talking
You,
about,
Mr.
right?
Cantrell,
But
can
it
fight
needs to
over
be.
all you want.
Yeah.
But the road needs to be open.
I'm just explaining it to you. I'm in agreement with
I
you for
understand,
sure.
I understand what's going on, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, the
Okay.
road needs to be opened.
Couldn't
And
agree
only
with you
you
more.
guys can do that,
We agree.
and it
Total
needs to be
agreement.
opened.
We
So that's
agree
why
with
I'm here.
that. What we can do is we'll have another conversation about that because it's currently blocked again, right?
Yes, it's
And the
currently
reason
blocked.
why we blocked
It's
it this
bolted
time is
down,
because
and it's blocked with big
we had
cement
we had the stuff
blocks. And if
removed.
there's any damage to your roadway, then you can bill Mr. Control.
Absolutely. So we've had this conversation. We removed this blockage from the roadway to protect the citizens of the town, and he summarily put more stuff up. And so we had to block the road to where we come back and have this meeting again and have this conversation. I couldn't agree with you more. It needs to be litigated. And if Mr. Cantrell is in that position that he wants to litigate that, then it's incumbent upon him to file for that. It's not on us to prove, right?
Correct.
I disagree with that.
So-
But
It-
in the meantime.
I'm talking to her right
the
now.
road needs to
I
be
don't care
opened.
either, but, because I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her.
Don't be putting stuff. out
Please,
to the
please
public
stop,
that's false.
please stop, because it's her time to talk.
As long as it's not
Yes,
mine.
ma'am, you go ahead. We're just gonna ignore him right now, okay?
Go right ahead.
You just go ahead and keep on talking.
Well, I'm just saying, you need to remove the blockage from the public part of the roadway.
I agree.
Josh, did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, about the alley, you called me about the alley, and I told
And
you
you said you'd inspected it, but
I went to
My
block it,
point-
and it was already blocked, so it needs to be blocked until we can fix it. We had
I
planned to do that
understand
today.
But my point is, that's a public alleyway. It's deeded. And private citizens should not be putting up barriers. And I would like a city barrier there rather than a barrier from a private citizen. And I know that's inconvenient for you.
It's not an inconvenience.
We
It's
could
blocked.
probably accommodate that, couldn't
No, we're gonna fix it tomorrow. I mean, I was gonna fix it today. That's what I was trying to say this whole time.
we? Okay.
So you
Uh,
are gonna fix it
We're gonna
tomorrow.
start on it tomorrow,
Okay.
so it'll probably be blocked by us after we get started. Well,
Okay.
we gotta dig it out, see what we need, get the parts, and put it back correctly.
Okay. Okay. So then after you do that, you can open the roadway.
Absolutely. The alleyway.
Not the alleyway, the roadway. I'm talking the roadway. You guys need to, you can discuss this all you want, but you also need to act on it, because I know myself, I don't wanna be here a month from now saying you need to open the roadway.
I agree. So,
That's all I have to say. Thank
well,
you.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your time. So, I know, Bob, that you've had some other folks complain to you.
All the time.
Sure. And we've had this conversation about clearing out the roadway. And if there is land dispute, it needs to be settled.
While the road's open, is my opinion.
Right, it needs to be litigated, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It cannot be just taken over when roadway's been established for this many years. So, we've already made the motion to clear that roadway. What do we need to do further beyond that to get the roadway cleared again?
That's up to you guys of what you want. If you're gonna leave it like you did last time, you can order it cleared, or you're gonna leave it barricades up until it's decided. Those are your two options.
there's been many options, just don't come on it without a court order. There are plenty of other great options available.
So we've already had this conversation. The city council's already voted on it. My opinion on that is that if we've already voted on this, why aren't we going ahead and proceeding with our established decision of keeping the roadway clear? And if Mr. Cantrell continues to do this, you know, we need to start charging him to have the stuff removed, and he needs to be cited. We need to build a case on it, and we need to move forward with it. But we need to keep the roadway cleared. We've already voted on it. Let's just
Do what we said we were gonna do.
let's just do what we said we were gonna do. I don't think we need to make another motion.
No, I don't
I can tell you right now, that issue has come up since 2000.
So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue on with that.
Come on there without a court order or without
It-
entertaining the options that's available.
We're just
to the
gonna
city.
continue to do what we said we were gonna
Charge what you
do.
want, But we'll litigate it in
All
court,
right.
not in the street.
Okay, well, we'll litigate it in court.
No, you litigate it in court.
No, I don't have to.
Actually, you
That's
will.
upon you.
You already lost.
That's
your
upon
case.
you, and we're just gonna go on and talk about something else, cause I think we're done with that conversation. All right.
That's very unfortunate.
I really appreciate that we had a constituent come and voice her concerns, you know, about the bullying tactics that we see.
That's why most people won't come up here. They're afraid of intimidation.
I got you.
From the city council.
From you, sir.
No, not for me. And
I'm pretty
just
confident
so-
that's who it's
just to-
from.
Just to set the record straight,
You
and
can-
from Ms. Grimm, the reason that I barricaded that off is because there was no one available. I called the police at that time, they came down.
Because it's not your property to barricade. It's a public
But
road.
it was.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that sounds great. At this point in time, I think we're going to go ahead and call Gary Rose. Is Gary Rose here today?
Gary Rose?
Hey, Gary, come on up. I'm sorry, we're gonna go ahead and continue on. We just got a lot of stuff to get through. I really appreciate it. If y'all wanna have a conversation outside the city council room, that's fine. That'd be great. Hi, Gary.
I don't know if I can top this, but
Please try.
I guess I'm here to answer any questions about the senior citizen building that you
Yes.
guys might have.
So, gosh, where do we start? We had an insurance claim, that we received monies for the roof. And the way the insurance claim laid out, do we have to have the door, open?
ask them to
I
step-
mean,
Move them away.
we're not going into executive session or anything. I just want to make sure that we can actually continue to conduct business without listening to that. So anyway, we got this $14,000 or something like that, less the $1,000 deductible that we had for it, and it was to basically, in effect, replace the roof. And I know that $14,000 not gonna actually pay for a brand new roof.
No.
on
No,
that.
won't
It's
even
probably
touch
more
it.
like a $35,000-$40,000 roof.
Chances are, what's wrong with the roof, which I haven't been up there yet, but I've already called Susan, who's the manager at ABC Supply in Joplin. She gave me the name of a guy out of Columbus that rolls the sealer on. I would say, which, I mean, I haven't got up there and looked at it yet, but I would think that the first thing we need to do is pull all the fasteners, because the fasteners are gonna be the first thing that fails.
Sure.
You know, cause they got the little rubber washers on them, and that's usually what goes first. So I haven't talked to Roger about it yet, but he was supposed to come by today and look at it. And I was gonna get with him tomorrow and see what he thinks, if he's on the same page. You know, we'll get up there and check it out, make sure the metal is good, but see if it is the fasteners and replace the fasteners. And then if he thinks that it does need to be coated, then we'd go ahead and coat it.
That's something like an elastomeric sealer.
Yeah, I forget what Susan recommended over at ABC Supply, but Roger said, and which is too hot now to do anything. It's got to be, you know, I mean, here in the next probably 10 days, it's going to be way too hot, which I mean, it's not really going to hold anything up, you know. But that's our plan right
Sure.
now.
So, is that like somebody gonna get hurt out there? Or? Okay, great. All right, so I can rest easy. So, y'all heard what Mr. Rose said, and you see our dilemma, right? We do not, I mean, the insurance company did not provide a replacement cost for that because of depreciation of the roof, because of the age of the roof, and you're going to actually inspect the metal or inspect the roof, see if there's any pitting or...
I'll get with Roger and see what he thinks, and then I'll get up there and look at it. But I would think that if we replace all the screws, and that's basically just pulling them out and putting new ones in, you know, because the rubber washers on the fasteners dry rot, and that's usually, you know, would usually be what, and there may be something else going on up there, but I can't think I can't imagine it being anything major.
So in the interim, what we can do to dry in the senior citizen building is to perhaps pursue this pathway with Mr. Rose on Rose Construction to replace the fasteners, and then to surface the metal if it's in good enough shape to maintain, and then we'll have a dry senior citizen building.
Were
Now
there any
that's-
other big problems with the building?
Yeah.
You should come by and see it now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, when you took me over there and showed me it.
That's when the walls were all still there.
Oh,
I
yeah?
hate to say this, but I feel like a big guy in a little chair.
It's gutted?
It's
I'm
gutted.
feeling hugged.
Yeah, it had water damage coming in around the windows. We pulled the sheetrock off. There's rot, there's termite damage. So we met
That
up.
wasn't a metal structure?
No, it's the walls are concrete, but the interior, on the interior, they've got 1/2-inch Celotex mounted to the concrete, and then they've got 2x2. They furred it out with 2x2s, and that's what they run their electric and all that in. But the majority of the wood in it is pretty well rotten. So what our game plan is now is we're going to pull all the walls out around the perimeter, and we're going to frame it up out of 2x4 so we can get an R13 insulation in it. We're going to take it all the way to the roof. We're going to pull the ceiling out, have the furnace moved, and put it down on that end, and then we're going to leave it all exposed and have spiral ductwork running down the middle of it.
Okay.
Exposed ductwork?
Yes.
Yeah, like you see in older buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll re-sheetrock, and then we're gonna we'll have the roof. We're gonna get a bid on spray foaming it, because once we pull the suspended ceiling out, there won't be any insulation. So we'll spray foam it in between the girders, and then after that's done, go in there and just spray paint the red iron,
Kind
the
of like what you see
insulation.
at Meat
Yeah,
Doritos.
Meat-Doritos, correct.
It's a nice building,
Yeah.
it just needs some
It just needs some update, so.
that convention hall at
So-
downstream when it gets done.
So just a little forward thinking on our insurance coverage. If the fasteners alone were just replaced, that wouldn't protect us because it's not a new roof. But if we do pursue doing the coating as well, then that's gonna give us more protection, and the insurance policy will cover it.
That I'd say, I mean, putting that coating on it's, I mean, definitely not gonna hurt anything.
Right.
But I think that, I mean, I'm no metal expert, you know, but I would definitely think that the fasteners need to be replaced.
Yeah. So
Which, I mean, you can get some, you know,
like a year and a half
kids up there
ago,
doing that, you know.
I know that one of our council members said the same thing, that the fasteners need to be replaced. But
Well, that's the first thing that'll fail if you've got exposed fasteners. Your other option is to pull the roof off and put a standing seam roof on it, which will cost probably $100,000.
Right.
So, I mean, we wanna do it right, but we don't wanna break the bank, you know, doing it, you know, either, so.
We're on a
But we
budget.
definitely don't wanna, you know, we may end up redoing it, you know, in maybe 30 years or something like that, but I definitely don't wanna be redoing it in 2 years.
That all sound good to you guys?
Now, one question, the age of that building, was there any asbestos situations that you had to deal with, or?
I don't think so.
We had the tile tested even, and it was fine.
I'm
It's
sorry.
just a composite
Tile,
vinyl,
we
right?
had it tested, and it was fine.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
A couple years ago.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Gary, I really appreciate it, sir.
No,
Thanks
you're
for-
welcome.
Looks like that's the path that we're headed. I just wanna make sure you guys are up to speed on it, cause I know that he's done this job cost
Should we get,
15%.
should we do like some sort of approval to let him get the roof in order?
Sure, we can make that a motion. So I'm looking for a motion to pursue with the fastener replacement and seal coating.
So moved.
All right, second. Moved by Ms. Watkins, seconded by Ms. Flint. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Oh, 'cause it's the price. Looks like we gotta do a roll call vote 'cause of the price.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Ms. Bodkin? Yes. Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Watkins?
Yeah.
Ms. Flint?
Yes.
Mr. LaTurner?
Yes. All right,
Okay, good?
sounds good.
All right,
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, Gary.
thanks, sir.
Thank you. Wasn't so bad. All right. Gosh, are we all the way up to department heads now?
Yes.
I have new business. Oh, well, we're not there. Go ahead.
I'm still in new business. All right. I know that, I brought some old business up because I just wanted to get Mr. Florian moving because I knew there was some possible conflict going on there. But it sounds like it's working out okay. All right. So we're gonna start with department heads. I'm gonna start with the fire department.
Let's go.
We had a call last week at Owens Corning. We don't actually cover Owens Corning, that's Joplin's, but we actually first respond, so we were first on scene. They had a pretty significant fire, but the problem that we're having is we actually cover 95 square miles. We go all the way to the Pittsburgh Junction. So our border and Carl Junction's borders meet, so we run mutual aid with them. And I know the county's got a plan in place, and Joe, you may know, of kind of replacing the radio system, but right now, we're on one frequency, Carl Junction's on one, and Joplin's on one, so.
And that makes it a little difficult,
It-
doesn't it?
It makes it real difficult. So, the bigger problem is, if you try to get a radio that will cover all three frequencies, you're talking $7,000 to $10,000 per radio, so.
Per handheld, yeah.
We went out, I'm just giving you guys an info. We went out, we're actually going to pursue purchasing two, but we think we have a grant for both. So it won't cost the city any money, but I know in the future, I don't know where the county's gonna go with their radio system, but we're really gonna have to try to look at upgrading. I mean, a radio right now for our frequency only runs about $200.
Right.
So it's a significant increase, but we just have no way to communicate. And I know with this fire with Joplin, it was brought up that we need to do more training together, so that's gonna start next month, so.
That's nice.
It's gonna be imperative that, you know, we are able to communicate with them, so.
Awesome.
So if we go play in their backyard, you know, they're requiring us to be on their frequency, and, you know, if they come over here, vice versa, so.
Makes sense.
But anyway, we're looking at that going forward with, no city funds to purchase at least two that will keep at the station that they can take with them when they go, but.
How many radios do you actually have?
Currently, like, we've got a mobile in each unit, so we've got 13, and then each firefighter has a portable, so we've got 24.
24 radios.
Talking over
And the handhelds?
$1,000 if we were to outfit everybody, which is not feasible to do.
Right. But, I mean, are these like intrinsically safe radios and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're Motorola. I mean, they're top of the line. I mean,
Right. Because you're gonna get into spaces where you gotta
Yeah.
mask up and.
so.
Okay.
So anyway, just FYI.
Well, that's good FYI, and it's a scary FYI on the other, so, what it would cost to actually outfit all of them. All right. Chief?
Vehicles, I wanna talk about vehicles.
Vehicles.
Talking about the budget. I got a letter from the person that does our vehicles, Thursday. He said that all the manufacturers are basically only doing it on pre-order basis. And like 3 or 4 of the different types of vehicles are already sold out for 2023. So, and he's got to have letters of intent to even order a vehicle. So, basically what I'm asking is, we need a vehicle next year. So, and to get that vehicle, I'm gonna have to order it pretty quick, or at least put a letter of intent that I want a vehicle.
And this is in the budget.
Well, yeah, I budget for one every year, except this year, because my budget got cut, and that just happened to be what I cut was a vehicle. So I didn't get one this year, other than the wreck one that got from the fire department, which was good. It got us through. It got us through.
What was it, right? Good.
Beautiful, man.
A replacement for the wreck one from the fire department. So, and it was a good vehicle. It was like a new vehicle, which.
So you're,
But the vehicle it replaced wasn't one that needed replaced.
so you're looking
So-
for,
So I'm just letting you know that if
oh, you're just informing us.
that I'm gonna have to order a vehicle if I'm gonna get one next year.
Okay.
So, and they're estimating that they're gonna be at least $5,000 to $10,000 more than the last one I bought, just because of the way things are.
Sure.
So, that's one thing, and another thing that I'd like to refresh people's memory, or the council's memory on is, toward the end of last year, maybe the first of this year, we started talking about maybe switching to KPNF for the fire, or the police department. I'd like to continue looking into that, because it's getting to be a real deal maker to retain people, just because the benefits are so much different. It's a lot more, but if we wanna maintain the people that we're paying to train, then we're gonna have to offer.
Is that the straight 20 and out?
It's, yeah, pretty much. There's a lot of different options to it, but yeah,
Yeah.
20 and out,
So it
basically.
sounds like we need to have
So,
a finance meeting,
refresh
Start-
on it.
refresh
While we're
it.
Talking about the
Was
budget.
it finance or police that took that one? I thought the police
It
committee.
was police.
Was it police?
It was fire and
We
police,
talked
yes.
about salaries on finance committee. So,
It was police, cause I,
But-
fire and police.
and
'cause
I just
missed
got-
that meeting.
What reminded me about it, to be honest, is I got a letter from Meade County that they're just switching, and they gave a lot, a pretty good deal that I can email to everybody. That's in, that one to read it. It tells a little bit more about it and the benefits of it, and
I would like it if you'll.
I'll make you all a copy of it.
so the,
Yes, please.
so do I hear that the police committee's wanting to meet on that?
That's what it was last time, cause I was
That's who
supposed to
met
be in
last
on it
time.
and I was gone.
We're good with that. So, you wanna put one together? Thanks. All right, we got a committee meeting coming up on that one. What else you got, chief?
Well, Chief Hall was talking about the radios. We run into the same thing because we work with Joplin all the time. The only benefit that we have working with Joplin is they provided us a bunch of the high-tech radios. The only problem is that they only communicate with the Missouri side, they don't communicate with the Kansas side. Now, the same radios is what the highway patrol and everybody use, where you can talk all the way across Kansas if you want, so.
Sure.
Eventually, we're probably gonna run into the same problem, we're gonna have to have, and the thing about the radios, you can't have Kansas and Missouri in the same radio, for some reason, I don't understand all of it,
Well, your
but,
FCC license, you have to run on your freak.
but we're working on a solution for that too, but eventually, it's probably gonna cost us some big money to replace our radios also.
Okay.
And I know that the county's got a plan in place that they're wanting to switch to the 800. that there's several $1 million there that I don't know what's gonna be allocated to each department, but I know there'll be some, so.
It's part of the 911 fund.
Yeah, so.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, chief. City attorney, you have anything you need to,
Nothing additional?
okay, city clerk,
Nothing.
all right.
I do.
Look, you're the one, Josh.
I've got a bunch.
Josh has got a bunch. You guys, you got the paper he handed out? Everybody's got that?
Before we go to that, we have, I've got one that you don't have.
Okay.
We had our, well go down last weekend, and we had to run on Missouri American Water. We were buying 700 gallons a minute from them for the week. So we're still pulling 600 right now because we've got an issue with our well. So what happened was they think it was probably a power surge or I can't say lightning because it didn't rain, but that's what they're thinking because Riverton School lost their pump, Twin Hills Golf Club lost their pump. We lost a pump and a stoplight. Stoplight was able to be fixed with just wiping it, putting new software in. So I haven't even seen a bill for that. That should be $300 to $600, I think, on that one. So no big deal there. The well pump, $56,708 is what the invoice for that is going to be coming. That should be covered under insurance. We started a claim before we called them. They are checking out the old pump. It was locked up, so they believe it was a power surge of some sort.
And that pump is 6 years old, right?
Happened 6 years ago too.
And the pump before that lasted 20
something.
years. So definitely an insurance claim for sure, but that,
And if it's not environmental, we do have mechanical breakdown policy too, so they should cover it one way or the other, just however they decide it. There are still a few items we need to do though. We've got our pump that we have now is a little bit shallow. Our well is 1,260 feet deep. We've got our pump sitting at 744 feet now. We'd like to lower that 105 feet. That's going to be an additional cost of $19,215 as on the sheet in front of you. We'd like to replace the old starter because it doesn't even have a soft start on it right now. It just bangs on and bangs off, so it's really hard on it. Like to put a VFD on it. It'll also have a potentiometer and a sine wave filter which cleans the power going into it. It's not going to prevent like a direct hit from lightning, but these power surges and things, it'll help with absorbing some of that and not just slamming the motor open or closed immediately. Price on that is $60,790. Number 3, we've got a regular water meter on it right now. It's just a digital. It shows, it reads in 10,000 gallon increments. So we have to put a clock on it to even time our output, gauge our output. So we were making about 289 gallons per minute. This new pump makes 500 gallons a minute. We may not always need 500. I'm hoping with this new pump at the lower depth, maybe I can slow Missouri American down. This also has to do with some of our water loss. I don't think we've been getting accurate numbers because of our flow meter. So I'd like to put a digital flow meter in. It'll be real time. It'll tell us how many gallons per minute we're getting, plus it'll keep track of overall.
You think the water loss is lower or higher than?
I think it's lower. I don't think, we were basing all of our numbers on what our pump should produce. And I don't think it's producing what it should. I mean, we had a meter in there, but we had KDHE come, or KRWA come out and clock it with their ultrasonic meter, and it was clocking more water than it was making, which residential meters never do. They always slow down. That one, for some reason, was spinning faster than what it even should. They measured it like 100 gallons per minute fast. So I'd like to put that new meter on. Part of that with the VFD is we can turn that VFD down. I would like to be able to see, at 45 hertz, if it's making 250 and we crank it up to 60 and it's making 500, we'll know that everything's working within the range that it should. Also with that, you'll see item 4 is a communication panel for the VFD. It That will alert us if something's wrong with the, you know, if it's offline or if it's online, if the pump's running or not running, how many hertz it's running, and which would tie into the gallons per minute.
Well, and if you were
Yeah.
running at 250, 300, and you had a water leak like you were discussing, you could effectively turn it up to prevent any kind of,
And our process right now is we have to have somebody sit at the tower and watch the level. And then we have to call Missouri American, have them crank us up, even with the amount of water we're losing at the leak. And it's just it's a hassle. This would put some of the burden back on us to create more water than to buy more water every time we have a leak. I've got to get that down. We've been buying, on average, probably 350 gallons a minute from them this year. We're contracted for 200, but we haven't been maintaining. We know why now some of these problems were contributing to that. We don't know. There could be leaks that we haven't found. I don't believe there's any huge ones because we'd have some green spots, you know, in this dry spell that we've been having. So,
What happened out on Clark Street? Was that a real leak or
no.
really?
The water is pumping out of the ground there in 2 different spots. And we shut the line completely down. There's only one line that feeds that. They replaced it in '92. We shut it down completely. The water still didn't slow down. So it just comes out of the ground there.
It's like a
Spring.
artesian well or something, or?
Our theory is they're pushing all those tires in. That water's got to go somewhere.
Up at the Montefiore?
Yeah, but I could be way off. I mean, there's tunnels all under this town, so
Yeah.
who knows where it's coming from or going. But we don't have a really good solution to where our water's going. KRWA has promised several times they'd come down and help us find these, you know, if we've got any leaks. They've come down, they found, little drips on hydrants. That's all they've located. That's all we've located. You know, we've got the device now that we can listen and find leaks. Anyway, there's probably 100 little leaks that we don't even know about, but there's nothing big that's really causing what we thought we had on water loss. So grand total on this is $90,452. We set aside $87,000 and some change last year out of the ARPA money. It was 84 or 87, I don't know exactly which. I don't have those figures in front of me. So I'd like to get an approval to go ahead and do this, and then use the special water account to pick up whatever's not in the ARPA fund. We set that aside for well repairs anyway.
What do you think was in the ARPA fund? 80?
It was 84 or 87, it was 80 something.
so if it was at 84, it would be around 6K, and if it was 87, it'd be around.
That would come out of special water, 702, what is that? Anyway, it's on your sheet. There's 44,345 in that account right now. We don't use that for anything other than emergency repairs. That's a non-budgeted line
And if
item.
the ARPA money is at 84, then it's only be six and some change.
So none of this affects our budget in any way. I mean, it could affect our budget for the positive if we can slow down our consumption from Missouri American, and I need to because we didn't budget for the amount of water we're gonna wind up using if we keep going at the rate we are.
You know, I think it's,
No.
I think it's smart to upgrade all this. I think it's real smart to have a flow meter on there. Be able to communicate, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna help us in reducing our water independence, or water dependence, excuse me, from, Missouri water. So, y'all heard what he had to say. We need to make a motion on that.
Motion to move forward on this.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Can we get a roll call since I got one bid?
Yeah, big money. All right.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Ms. Bodkin?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds? Yes. Ms. Watkins?
Yes.
Ms. Flint?
Yes.
Mr. LaTardy?
Yes.
I
All
will
right,
add,
what's next?
I will add the Facebook post that you've seen about air in the water. It's because our pump's not deep enough and it's actually pumping.
Cavitating.
It's a 12-stage pump, and we had a 12-stage pump before, but they took 3 of them out, so it was running on 9, so it was pumping slower. That's why it is cavitating. It's air bubbles. So we've tried to knock our water down.
It makes sense to lower it,
Missouri
right?
American before we. Just a little FYI there, and then I have one other thing.
All right.
I need to get a sewer lift station pump. We're down to, we like to keep a spare. We've used our spare and we've got probably 3 or 4 more down. total. We've got, the way it works, we've got lift stations, we have 5 of them. The one at the hospital, I don't really count because it uses a different type of pump. But the other 4 are supposed to have 2 pumps each in them. I've got a few of them running on 1 pump. So I really need to have a spare for when one of those go down. Though we tried to save money a couple years ago and buy a different type of pump and adapt it. It took about 9 months to even get the brackets built. So I'd like to stay with what we have. It's a Wheelo pump from IPS. I think they're out of Kansas City. It is a protected district for Wheelo. It's the only place I can buy it. It's $8,377.15. I'd take that out of sewer equipment maintenance. And there is $78,929 in that account.
Looking for a motion.
Motion to move forward and buy, purchase that.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Watkins, seconded by Ms. Reynolds. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Can we do roll call on that too?
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Mr. West?
Yes.
Ms. Bodkin? Yes. Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Watkins?
Yes.
Ms. Flint?
Yes.
Mr. Letourneau?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
The last thing I have on my list is we need to have an executive session for personnel.
Non-elected personnel.
That's
Before you
right.
Before you go into that, I'd like to address the council and basically talk more with Department Head Josh.
We're gonna go ahead and go into executive session, and when we come back, we'll see where we're at. Thanks. All right, so we're looking for an executive session. I hear a motion.
Make a motion to go into executive session for personnel reasons,
Non-elected personnel.
for non-elected personnel. Keeping the department heads and attorney in for 10 minutes, 5. For 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think we need me and no other department heads and Tracy.
Okay, I'll modify my motion for that.
Okay. So, you got a second?
Second.
All right. Motion made by Bob, second by Ms. Watkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Looks like we'll come back at 7:15, right? Did you say 5
Yes.
minutes or 10 minutes?
7:15.
All right, 7:15 it is.
Request a large police officer.
Okay, the executive session is completed, no action was taken. Ready for a roll call.
Mr. West?
Here.
Ms. Bodkin?
Here.
Ms. Reynolds?
Here.
Ms. Watkins?
Here.
Ms. Flint? Mr. Letourneau?
Here.
Great.
I'd still like to address the council.
Well, I've got Miss Chastity Reynolds who's got some old business we gotta attend to first.
Well, I have, so Jessica Walker with Beautiful Chaos, is that right? On Main Street, she wants
Chaos.
that little boutique.
Okay.
She wants to request September 30th and October 1st to block Main Street to her alley from 5 to 9 to hold a block party, like a movie on the building and popcorn just.
Is that the block Main Street or
No.
6th Street?
It'd be
Sixth-
6th Street.
6th Street,
Sixth
yeah,
Street.
from Main to,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe to Joplin?
There you go. So nothing.
What was
Main
those two
Street.
dates, October 1st and what?
September 30th, 5 to 9. And I don't see an issue with it.
I'll make a
We don't
motion
have
that we
anything going
accommodate
on.
her request.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Letourneau, seconded by Ms. Flint. That's all right. You wanna borrow my?
We wanna make sure we get it covered.
All right.
And so the,
Oh, hold on a
oh,
second,
are
we
we
gotta
not
vote
done,
on it.
sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right.
Now the second.
Yeah.
Do we have a contract ready for Preston Scarrow?
We, yes.
Okay, he
For
was
answers.
asking again today, and there have been several more complaints, which I've talked to him about since that was one of his issues, but
We need to clarify this before he's purchased and signed some of the issues already?
no, about
No,
his,
this
we
is
need to
about
get it
him.
away from his house to that
Oh,
property,
I
so he'll
gotcha.
stop
There's
having.
another issue too, cause he continues to do business and making money and not paying any taxes on that. So he's doing business without a license right now, just because.
He never
He was
came with a
supposed to
license?
come
We
in
cannot
last,
issue him one at that
Because
residence.
it's there. We need to get him the contract and get that moved,
ASAP.
yeah. Because he's doing a lot more business too, he's got more employees he's hiring, I mean, yeah.
So you think that's
He
something we
needs
could
to
get to
get
him this
out
week?
there.
Okay.
You know,
The city attorney's gonna get that to him this week.
Okay, I will relay that.
All right. Is that it? All right. All right, I'm gonna give you till 7:30. Is that acceptable to you?
Talking to me?
Yep.
I don't know what time it is. Either way,
It's 7:25.
okay. You're so gracious. Anyway, aside from the sarcasm,
No, there's no sarcasm here. I'm just telling you, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. Can you do it in 5 minutes?
I was speaking of my sarcasm.
Oh,
If you were being sarcastic.
No.
I'd pick up on it.
Okay.
Anyway, beside that point, there's no way that, we're going to resolve all the issues that, have come to be conflict between myself and the city. However, as I pointed out to Mr. Turner and with, Mr. Reed, there's a lot of options down there on that Fourth and Water Street intersection area. Not just the Fourth Street alignment, but that entire corner that it's only logical to do, as you all speak of, well, you know, that road's been there 180 years or whatever. Over 180 years and nothing ever got done. There's been a whole lot of different administrations that have dealt with that.
sure, cut to the chase. Get to the point.
I'm cutting to the chase.
All right.
Because all of that is part of the chase. The bottom line is, there's been a lot of manipulations and miswordings of things down around that road for several administrations. Things were said, never followed up on. I went out and I marked that off and delineated it off because nothing was getting done, no due process was happening. The problem still exists. It's more than just the alignment of the road. We're not gonna be able to fix all of the issues that exist there. However, I request the council give the city superintendent the authority to give it one more shot to come up and see if we can find logical, most cost-efficient solutions to as many problems on that intersection that does include the road alignment as possible. I believe there's a good chance that Josh and I can hash out something that's fair to everyone, not just with me or the city, but the entire community, as Ms. Grimm pointed out. She takes issue with that too. She would like to use that road. I don't blame her. I'd like to use it.
Okay.
So, I'm asking the council, actually, I'm asking Josh, if he'll come up and let's see if we can put down pen to paper and find solutions to the street alignment and as many things that that area can impact. And I tried to mention that as he was talking about a sewer lift station pump, because that's one of the things that would be an expense to the city, because it does make sense to have a lift station in that area. It's possible to do. I think Josh and I can work something out. I think we have a chance.
Okay. Well, hey,
That's what I'm asking.
all right. Well, man, you did that in 3 minutes. That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Is it, do you think you can do this, or you can have this
Yeah.
conversation with Mr.
I'm
Cantrell and
open
see
to
if you
try
can
to
figure
solve-
out how to
solve the problems.
get that resolved?
You guys let
Do
me.
you have any issue with that? Well, I don't think we have any issue with Josh going down there and having that conversation, and then he'll come back and tell us what's going on, and we'll figure out from there where we go. I hope you guys can come up with a resolution, because we really like to just have that road back, you know?
I'd
No-
like
no
to have a lot of-
conflict.
A lot of other issues fixed there too, and I think we have a chance to do it. But it's certainly different than everybody squaring off in the middle of a dang piece of asphalt without fixing any problems, without resolving any problems. That's
Sure.
what's been going on over the years. I think
Yeah,
we can stop it.
and I'll just end that with this, right? The bulk of this council has no clue what you're really talking about, right? Because it's happened prior to them,
Exactly.
right? And maybe even prior to some of the ones that's been on here longer. Irrespective of that, what I would say is, we can work through problems, as long as they're legitimate problems, and as long as they're based in some level of fact. And so, we're hopeful that can be resolved between you two, for the city's, benefit and for your benefit. So, we're excited to see what you guys come up with. How about that?
When you wanna meet, Josh? You're gonna be up there tomorrow working, right? Now, to follow on with that, you had said that even though it wasn't talked about before on repairing the culvert, you're actually gonna drop some 6-inch sleeves underneath that culvert, which accommodates part of what we were talking about.
Awesome. We're gonna go ahead, we're at our 7:30 mark, and appreciate it. Thank you for bringing that up. Anybody else got any old business? I'm looking for a motion.
Second.
Motion for adjourn, seconded by who?
I will.
Ms. Flint.
That's fine.
All those in favor?
I was already up, sorry.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.